Bea Bocalandro, or do you say B? Bea or B?
Siri calls me Bia, but most people call me B.
Bea Bocalandro. Once upon a time, B. Bocalandro graduated from college, took a professional job, and to her amazement, had something new and magical in her life: disposable income. B knew exactly what to do with her purchasing power: fly. She took flying lessons and got her pilot's license. The hobby didn't stick, but a life lesson from it did. In this speech, B will share the invaluable wisdom she learned hundreds of feet in the air. The objectives of B's speech are to select an appropriate outline, deliver a clear message, use appropriate transitions, and create a strong opening and conclusion. The title of B's 5 to 7 minute speech is Everything I Needed to Learn About Conflict I Learned in Flight School. Please help me welcome B.
Oh, sure. Wow. 5-star treatment up here. Life is conflict. Whether it's your son who insists on doing something dumb, or whether it's an employee who is underperforming, or whether it's a spouse who doesn't know how stressed you are, or maybe just a friend who has very odd political views for you, right now you are in conflict with others. It's unavoidable. And it generally produces suffering. I'd like you to think of somebody that you are in conflict with right now. It can be a minor conflict, or it can be a full blown out war that you have going on. But think of somebody that you are in conflict with right now. I'm going to tell you a story that I hope will help soften that. So many years ago, I was learning to fly a small plane. I was outside of the Albany, New York airport. This is a commercial airport. And I had gotten to the point where I was allowed to fly solo, but I still didn't have my pilot's license. So I had gotten the green light to go up there and practice. It was a summer afternoon, and I was up there practicing my figure eights in this little Cessna 150. The forecast for that day was clear, beautiful weather. And so I was there just enjoying my buoyancy up there in midair and practicing. The forecast, however, was also incorrect. So much to the dismay of the weather forecasters, there were thunderstorms rolling through the area, completely unexpected. The Albany airport issued this advisory to have all aircraft come back and land for safety reasons. So I'm in my little Cessna 150 and I'm like, oh, okay, all right, well, I guess I better head back to the airport. So I start heading back to the airport, and I'm, getting in the traffic patterns. And a little bit later, the air traffic controller says, for my Quebec, increase your speed to 90 knots. You have jet traffic behind you. So you can imagine my little plane has less horsepower than a VW Bug. And he's trying to land all these planes, including jets, and line them all up. So of course I had to speed up, and they were probably doing circles behind me. But that was not my problem. So I'm like, okay, Bill, my instructor, taught me how to do this. I know how to approach faster than the standard. I'll just have to land with no flaps, and I accelerated. I'm like, I can do this. And then he goes back to issuing orders to other planes. Now, he had, if you can imagine, there were all these planes in the air, and all of a sudden he's having to bring them back to land. So now, the radio communications are so dense the way the air traffic controller sounds like Delta 486, descent to 4,000, maintain your speed, heading of 180. U.S. Airways 284, descent to 5,000, follow Delta airplane. You're just barking orders back and forth, back and forth. As soon as you acknowledge the order, he goes on to the next person. That's how busy he was. So I'm in my traffic pattern. Then a little bit later, the air traffic controller comes back to me for my Quebec. That's my license plate. And he goes, for my Quebec, we are landing you in the alternate runway. So the problem with the alternate runway is that it runs into the active one. Well, they're both active at this point. So you only have half the runway to stop the plane. Now, just to put things in perspective, my little Cessna only needs 500 feet to land, and the runway is 8,000 feet long. Okay, so I had plenty of room, but still I was used to the big runway. And the other problem with the alternate runway is that instead of a headwind, which helps you land, you have a crosswind, which is a lot harder to land in. So now I'm thinking, okay, Bill taught me how to do this. I know how to do a crosswind landing. I only need 500 feet. I have at least 4,000. This is fine. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. So I acknowledge in pattern for runway 19, and I keep going. Then he goes back to barking orders to all these other people. And now I'm one turn away from final, so I got one more left turn before I head in. And he comes back to me and goes, for my Quebec, wind gusting to 20 knots. So now this is a crosswind. So if an air traffic controller asks you to do something and you feel like now you are beyond your ability to do it, you tell them you're unable, like Sully did and landed in the Hudson, right? That's not exactly what I did. What I did was, this is for my Quebec. I'm a student pilot. You're really pressuring me. You're asking to land, to approach faster, no flaps, with a crosswind, half the runway. I'm a student pilot. You shouldn't be pressuring me this much. This is outrageous. How could you pressure me this much? I'm a student pilot. How could you do this to me? And then I finally shut up, right? So now there's a little bit of silence for the first time. And the air traffic controller comes back and he says, for my Quebec, honey, what's your name? I said, B. And he goes, B, I'm so sorry. I didn't know you were a student pilot. We will get through this. A few other things happened. He went back and talked to some other planes. He said I could have the whole runway. And then he talked me in. And he's like, keep that wing down. Keep your nose up, align the wheels, keep that wing up, and I landed safely, and so did everybody else. The moment I was picking a fight with him, the moment that he succeeded in managing the conflict, and the moment I succeeded in landing that plane safely, was when he said, for my Quebec, honey, what's your name? Because that's when he went from talking to a container, a metal container for my Quebec, to acknowledging that there was a human in there. That I was in there with all my dreams and all my faults and all my vulnerability. Think back to the person that you're in conflict with. Are you talking to an outer shell, maybe their title, their organization, their political views? Or are you acknowledging the human within? Thank you.